You know, of course, remember, I mean, I think in what you just said, the important word for me, one important word, not the only one, but one, is partly. It's partly, even partly. Because, otherwise, you expose yourself, perhaps intentionally or willingly, to the famous interjection that Lacan, an arch-reactionary in some sense, addressed to the 68 movement.
But we don't have a master.
You want another master? Yeah. You'll get it. So that's the problem. That's the problem. But I admit that this is a purely a negative, Mephistophelic kind of reaction, and I see not a protection, but a dialectical counterpart to that in your use of the adjective partly, and your idea that the problem now is not to replace institutions or institutions of the political with absolute spontaneity, but to break, of course, the closure of that institutional existing form, to bring in fact, the alternative element that it had entirely eliminated. But behind that, if we continue, that will be for another summer school, maybe. If you invite me again, I might pick up that that question, and perhaps some of you will agree to come back. I don't know. Behind that, because I was mentioning Freud and speaking of human nature, etc., there's of course this huge difficulty that for Freud, or Stephen Frosch maybe, but Freud, there's one model of institution, which is the family. It's not only the family, it's the patriarchal family. And behind the patriarchal family, as Ricardo perhaps would ask us to say, there's not only the father, but the arch-father, and ultimately there is the monotheistic God. So, of course, if we are doomed, if we are condemned to permanently turn inside the circle of different ways of realizing this model, then, of course, nothing such as a democratic transformation in a radical sense will ever take place, and will, in the end, verify Lacan's horrible prophecy, which means you can leave a master only to get another one. That's the issue about institution, which is simultaneously political, therefore perhaps also juridical, and anthropological, and in the end, in fact, I don't shy before that word, metaphysical.
No, I agree on that, and of course, you said earlier, without the symbolic order, particularly from that tradition, we cannot exist. The symbolic order brings us life. I totally agree with that position, because we might be very close to this. However, at the same time, that symbolic order can be arranged in a number of ways. Or to go back to the idea about Gandhian democracy, yes, democracy is the least worst system. But it is a democracy that has totally excluded that part of direct popular participation, and you know, those experiments, both in Latin America and now very strangely in the south of Europe, precisely bring that back, and you know, sort of without any conception of destruction of the symbolic order, which would only, as you said earlier, happen in a post-human world where the basic procreation and reproduction of human species does not happen within a family tragedy or comedy. So anyway, as you can see, these are the quite wonderful issues that we have been discussing.